The Phillies have made it clear that they want to spend money on anything that can help them win immediately. That attitude is good for players to have, but it's never been great for a front office. At least a front office that over the past number of years has done a little looking ahead. Before the season, all seemed to be going great in the outlook of the Phillies' 2019 year. They acquired former MVP Bryce Harper out of free agency and traded Miami 4 young players for JT Realmuto. With a former MVP and arguably the best catcher in baseball joining your roster, it's easy to see why Philly fans would be excited for the year to come. This is the divide in the National League East. There are 2 strategies that are almost polar opposites. I think it'll be interesting to see which one works out for the better. One philosophy is what I like to call the Yankee philosophy, which is pretty simple: buy until they win. It's not seeming to work quite as well. Bryce Harper hasn't performed at an MVP level, and that seems to be what the Phillies were banking on. To give Philadelphia some credit, they lost Andrew McCutchen to a torn ACL. He's not coming back this season. They also lost Odubel Herrera, a young center fielder, to a domestic dispute. It seems every challenge that could happen off the field have appeared for the Phillies. Now, a team that is willing to spend that kind of money is never counted out until they're legitimately out of the picture. Also, you know as well as I do what Bryce Harper and JT Realmuto have been capable of. You know what Jake Arrieta and Aaron Nola are capable of. The Phillies have good pitching and have talent, so it's not insane to think that a major shift in momentum is possible. So that's one philosophy. A philosophy that the Phillies are not alone in possessing. Who's the other team, you might ask? The New York Mets. I'm going to get in more detail in a video later, but if you remember the deal with the Mariners picking up Robinson Cano and Edwin Diaz, trading prospects for older known players, this is an older philosophy, but one that seems to be filtering out. If you've noticed in the past decade, players don't tend to stay with the same team anymore. Chipper Jones and Derek Jeter may be the last of their kind. Hall of Fame caliber players go to the teams that give them the most cash. So why does this ruin the Phillies? After all, right now they're 4 games back and they could easily jump right back into first. In the grand scheme of things, that's the problem. The Phillies want to win now. They're digging themselves into a hole that will be very hard to get out of. They're not willing to sacrifice. In the National League East, the Phillies and the Mets have been blindsided by the primarily homegrown Atlanta Braves. Now you may be asking yourself, how could it be that a team that has been rebuilding for years could blindside teams in their own division? From the 2014 season through the 2017 season, the Braves were a fossil, with players that were obviously placeholders. You had Freddie Freeman, you had Nick Markakis, and even had a few fun guys pass through. The Braves found some pieces to build around and lost their stars. They traded Craig Kimbrell, the Upton brothers, Evan Gattis, Brian McCann, and so many others. They always traded for prospects. Well, the Phillies are going to have a very hard time building from within, as their minors are not near as loaded as the Braves farm system is. Bryce Harper takes up 1/3 of the Phillies' yearly payroll before exceeding the salary cap. The Phillies aren't hoping to be a great team year to year for a while. It seems that they feel that their only hope to win is right now. This is ultimately why Harper's contract will ruin the Phillies. It will put them so far behind the times for years to come. While everyone is rebuilding and gaining homegrown talent, they will be paying out the contract of Bryce Harper, much like the Angels of Anaheim will be paying out Mike Trout's. But you want to know the really hard truth about Bryce Harper? Listen to his stats up until this point. He has a .247 batting average, .356 on-base percentage, 12 homers, 49 RBIs, and has drawn 43 walks. Now let's add another number in that picture. $330 million. Not horribly terrible numbers, right? Let's compare these numbers to someone else's 2019 so far. This mystery player has a .271 batting average, a .361 on-base percentage, 6 homers, 39 RBIs, and has drawn 38 walks so far this season. Those are fairly comparable numbers. This is none other than Braves right fielder Nick Markakis, who is on a 1-year, $6 million deal with the Braves. Some people say Harper is in a slump. Is he though? Because look at last season's numbers for Harper. Today is June 19th, and last night Harper played in his 71st game. Last year he played his 71st game on June 16th. At that time, Harper had 53 hits, 75 strikeouts, 52 walks, 43 RBIs, and 19 homers. Now let's compare that to this year. So far he's got 65 hits, 91 strikeouts, 47 walks, 49 RBIs, and 12 homers. Very comparable numbers. And that's not the bad thing. The bad thing is that last year was considered a down year for the former MVP. certainly not one of a mainstream long-term contract. Harper may turn it around, but it's not looking bright for Philadelphia at the moment.